everyone, and good morning. I hope that you are doing well. Thank you again for joining me um, with our morning meditation. Today is December 29th. We're getting closer to the new year. Weather has been rather warm here in Western New York, which again, people may think is good, but in actuality, um, it causes sometimes some change because it's usually very cold and then becomes warm. I believe my body has to adapt sometimes. So very important to then keep ourselves both healthy mentally, physically, and then also to understand the changing in the environment and also the weather so that we can protect ourselves by understanding uh, these aspects of the elements, as I was explaining before. Also, our body, all of that are interlinked, so we cannot help but be influenced. So through awareness, which is what we're cultivating, ultimately to become samadhi, in which we understand the seer, the true self. Um, but the other aspects of that is to be able to be aware of all these changes that we can better adapt ourselves. Therefore, our life, um, we calm these huge waves of suffering. That instead of huge unmanageable waves, we have smaller waves. And then also with our state of mind, the sattvic, the pure, ludescent kind of more calm state of mind, we can be able to deal with these things and not allow them to overcome us as much as they would if our mind was in a state of suffering or panic, right, or lack of awareness. And we'd imagine up all kinds of terrible things. I'm sure many people have, in which we overstate things or understate things because we do not have a proper perspective. That's why this practice is essential. So let's stretch a little bit. Today I'm a little sore because I was carrying hoses for the fire hall. Let's move our neck gently again, being gentle with ourselves. This is another part. Relaxed and gentle. Then to our angle with our leg. Other side. And then we'll go in a circle to the left. One of the challenges of this is letting your neck just be gentle, moving it with your body. Not so easy. Excellent. So as we sit up straight, let us then, before we've just prepared our body, sitting up straight, it's very important to keep your spine straight. Okay. As Master Chantai speaks, this can actually cause some illness or the most. And when they talk about illness, um, they're not talking about a cold. They're talking about imbalance. Because again, the purpose of this practice is to balance ourselves, right? To quiet ourselves. And in that balance, we're able to then ask, perhaps, who is the seer? see our original nature. That is the goal of Buddhist Dhyana, okay, through samadhi. Each tradition or relevant, they have different goals. So as I've stated in my podcast, it's very important to know what the goal of the practice is that you're doing, okay? And also knowing what cultivations and what benefits come with that. A lot of people just start a generic or general meditation with someone, not knowing what, for instance, the tradition entails, okay, and what their goal, their ultimate goal is. So therefore, each practice is tailored according to the goal, and each goal is a little bit different, okay? So, especially within Buddhism, amongst the other, they call moksha. Moksha is the state of liberation, traditions in India, okay? So now that we've prepared our body, a little bit of asana, we're sitting, we're then going to do pranayama, which is the next step of yoga, the next limb, in which we're going to regulate our breathing. Now, with regulating our breathing, the holding part you wouldn't think is the most important, but it is, because within that moment, the mind is controlled. So when we breathe in, inhalation, hold, allow the mind to sit in that, because sometimes there would be some panic holding one's breath. So therefore, pranayama, the energy of breathing, and again, that is not being done through the breath. They call it the power of the breath, but actually is the power of the lungs. Is the physiological breathing that makes this power. Because without life, without breath, there is no life. Okay, and then this is where one of the states, one of the ways in which our body um, brings in energy and removes energy, according to the Eastern teachings. Okay, so by doing that, we're going to inhale through our nose for the count of 3, hold for the count of 5, and then exhale for the count of 7. Okay, now as you're breathing in, a lot of people haven't breathed in deeply before, so it can be very challenging. So you can breathe in steps all the way up to like 6 or 7. So you can go and hold, okay? And then exhale. So let's do that together, okay? So let's close our eyes. We're going to breathe in through our nose for the count of 3, hold for 5, exhale for 7. Let us begin. Hold and exhale. Next round again. Hold and exhale. Last round. Breathe in. Hold and exhale. Now in doing that, we're using our diaphragm for breathing. Okay, we're not breathing in the upper part of our lungs. This has been shown, and they've been able to measure this again with instruments, that at certain levels of regulating a breath, different states of mind are associated with it. That's the basic premise of practice. Same with chanting, same with reading the sutra, etc. That's why in this basic practice of sitting, we learn how to regulate our breath. And that's also the other reason why having a teacher to chant with is essential, because there is a specific way of chanting the sutras, which then influence us in chanting the daimoku. And doing that properly allows us to enter the state of dhyana, concentration, and advance towards the state of samadhi. And in that state of samadhi, because we are using this object to concentrate on, for Nichiren Buddhists, it is Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. That is the same as Om. the sound of the universe, okay? And this is the main practice that many people use in India. They concentrate on Om. We use, and this is the amazing thing, specific to our goal, as stated by our founder Nichiren Shonin, is Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. So again, we use that in our regulation of mind now, okay? Because we're going to now regulate mind. We've regulated body with asana, which means sitting. We've regulated our breath with pranayama. And now we're going to regulate our mind with dhyana, okay? That means one-pointed concentration. And we use our mantra given to us by our teacher um, to do that. So therefore, in our breath as we exhale through our nose, Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. Focus on that point like a line going forward, hitting a target. Then, as it comes back, simply observe. So now as we go into meditation, we will simply breathe through our nose. Okay, so we'll close our mouth, sit up straight, hands in Hokai Join, ears over the shoulders, tuck in your chin, close your mouth, close your eyes. And at the sound of the bell, we're going to begin our dhyana meditation. Again, only breathing through our nose, okay? Let us begin. Let us take a moment and release our concentration. It's a very important aspect. Allow our awareness to come back to our body. Let us take a scan of our mind, breathing, and body. Now let us bring our attention more back to our body, moving our fingers, toes, moving our body gently, rubbing our hands together. Taking a moment. As I stated at the end, it's very essential to still the body, still the breath, still the mind. And as we simply concentrate on our object of veneration, as Nichiren Shonin instructed us in the Kanjin Honzon Sho, they were able to concentrate on this point. But this point is not just some general concentration. This point allows us and is connected with our original nature. As I said before, Namu Myoho Renge Kyo or Myoho Renge Kyo is connected to Om. Om is the universal sound, the universal truth, they even say, within that sound, that through sound in the East is a way of gaining enlightenment. Through sound, there's very many traditions that speak specifically of that. Ours also being of a mantra tradition, we have the same concept that in Myoho Renge Kyo lies the truth of the universe, lies the answer to our original nature. Okay, this is the technique, this is the object that allows us to see going from external to internal and then internal to universal. That is very important. So please keep this Myoho Renge Kyo in your body and then refer to it. That is why we use this besides chanting and reading the sutra, etc. We always focus our mind back onto that mantra given to us by our teacher. Okay. And so whenever you have some distracting thought, you can bring this up in your mind, and your mind automatically connects it with this we call sattvic. There are three gunas. All of them have certain characteristics. Okay, the two other gunas have a characteristic of tamasic, which means a lethargic kind of. That is a negative kind of aspect of it, but also the good part. But yet, in meditation, we must have a kind of energy. So therefore, that is one of the parts of our physical body, the makeup. These three gunas make up our body in the physical world that can keep us from enlightenment. And then the second is tamasic. Tamasic, registic, means raga means a kind of desire. Okay, so that means are stuck with our desire. And then the highest one is the sattvic. Sattvic is very pure. And as I explained before, one way to think of these three gunas, or manifestations of the material matter realm, is to think about a pond. That if you can see all the way to the bottom, the smallest stone, etc., very clear, that is sattvic. Okay, that is the state we wish to attain. Rajasic, you can see halfway through, and tamasic, you cannot see anything under the water. These are also correlating with our states of mind. Correlates, as you see, in eating as well, what is considered tamasic, rajasic, and sattvic food, right? Thoughts, etc. So we try to cultivate this sattvic state, okay? And in the sattvic state, we are able to uh, attain dhyana. Okay, this is what is continuous to each other. If we follow the state of desire or of lethargy or lethargic nature, we cannot have the proper awareness to attain sattvic state. Now, important to know that even though you have a sattvic state, the other two gunas still exist. Okay, so that is why cultivation is very important, because if we do not continuously cultivate those others, as I've stated before, the other elements which those are associated with, will try to take over. They're always trying to um, one up each other. So therefore, that is the cause, as Master Tiantai says, of disease. And when we say disease, we're saying in a very broad sense. Suffering is a disease. Okay, um, the turning of the mind, the confusion of the mind, which we also accumulate into, we associate with samsara, the idea of birth and death. We wish to liberate ourselves beyond this. So therefore, this idea of sattvic state is what we wish to cultivate and maintain. Okay, and that, as later I'll explain how you can do that with your food, with your words. There are sattvic words. Also, many different aspects you can apply these three gunas to. Okay, so thank you very much for meditating together. I hope you have a wonderful, enlightened, and peaceful day. Till next time.